St. George is one of the fastest growing retirement destinations in the country, with sunshine, red rock views, and a slower pace of life. But how much do you really need to retire here comfortably? In this video, we're breaking down the real cost of living in St. George beyond what you see online, the hidden retirement expenses that you need to budget for, and exactly the kind of home that you can get for $500,000, $1 million, and $1.5 million here in Southern Utah. We are Michonne and Nick. We are ranked among the top 3% of realtors in all of Southern Utah. We have over 10 years of experience, which means hundreds of transactions. We specialize in retirees and relocation folks, and we know about all the hidden gems in Southern Utah. So if you're looking for a true expert to help you with your search, please reach out. We would love to help you. St. George, Utah gets a bestplaces.net cost of living score of 109.9, which means the total cost of housing, food, childcare, transportation, healthcare, taxes, and other necessities is 9.9% higher than the U.S. average and 3.8% higher for the average of the state of Utah. Let's talk about how much you need to earn to live in Southern Utah comfortably. $3,500 a month for a single person, which is 26.6% less than the national average. A total of $45,000 to $55,000 for the year for a single person. $7,700 a month for a family, which is 43.3% more expensive than the national average. A total of $70,000 to $90,000 for a family, depending on the size of the family, housing, and lifestyle choices. And it matters because climate, HOA fees, recreational spending can make a huge difference in your monthly burn rate.
If you were to visualize a pie chart of all of your monthly spendings in St. George as a retiree, housing would often have the biggest slice of that pie. There's one important thing to consider here. Majority of our retiree clients have been fortunate enough to have a substantial amount of equity in the home that they're selling prior to moving here. A lot of our retiree clients are blessed to be able to purchase something with cash. Therefore, the housing monthly expense here is actually substantially lower than it would be anywhere in the Pacific West. And let me compare this, for instance. If we compare property taxes and insurance, even if you have a home that's completely paid for in LA County, you're going to be spending substantially more, almost 3 or 4 times as much as you would in Southern Utah. And even if you own your house outright, one other cost to consider is the cost of HOA fees, as it covers the amenities that this home comes with. One of the communities that a lot of retirees tend to gravitate to is Sunriver, and the HOA fees there are around $172 a month. For some of the smaller communities that are age restricted, similar to Sunriver, the HOA fees are around $70 a month, and some of these communities include optional backyard landscaping for additional $54 a month. Let's talk about property taxes. Utah's effective property tax rate is just 0.55%, is almost half of the national average. In Washington County, where St. George sits, property owners pay about $1,900 a year for an average property. Basically, if you have a primary residence in Washington County, the county assessor depreciates the value of your property by about 45%, and then it gets multiplied by less than 1%, and that's our assessed tax rate. If it happens to be your secondary residence, like if your St. George house is your second home, then the tax assessment is a little bit higher, but it's still marginal compared to what you would pay anywhere else in the country. And that is notable savings for retirees on fixed incomes. The state of Utah also provides a property tax break to veterans based on the disability rating. In some cases, bringing the property tax all the way down to 0. Thank you for your service, veterans. All right, folks, I'd like to now talk to you about some of the hidden retirement expenses, or maybe they're not so hidden, they're more obvious for some, but these are some of the things that our clients typically fail to budget for. So I wanted to bring those up. And at the end of it all, I'd like to tally things up to give you an idea of what you should roughly budget for outside of the most obvious expenses. Insurance. Retirees should budget for supplemental health insurance, dental, vision, and long-term care, as well as the homeowners or rental insurance. That typically accounts for about $2,000 a year. Maintenance. Expect about $8,800 a year on home upkeep from routine care to major replacements, and hopefully it doesn't occur all in 1 year. So that's why we kind of break it down like the average. Let's talk a little bit about utilities. If you own a home or if you rent a home right here in Washington County, anywhere in St. George or surrounding cities, you could typically expect to spend about $275 a month on utilities, and that's averaged out. During the summertime, your electrical bill is likely to be a little bit higher, but for about 9 months out of the year, when the weather outside is perfect and you're hardly using air conditioning, that bill is going to be lower. Water, sewer, and trash bill is typically right around $90, although sometimes, depending on the HOA, part of that bill is included in HOA. So to average everything out, we figured $275 is a nice round figure that typically will cover utilities for most people. Transportation. This section I've included cost of upkeep, cost of ownership, as well as repair and fuel. So it's a little bit higher than what you would think. But cost of transportation, depending on the vehicle and depending on your average commutes, could be anywhere from $5,000 to about $15,000 a year. You should also allocate some money for recreation and travel, as well as anticipate some costs associated with the rate of inflation. Food at home prices are up by nearly 25% since just 2020, and you could anticipate for that number to hover around 3% year over year, so things continue to increase. Well, let's tally everything up. Insurance is roughly $166 a month. Property maintenance, $733 a month. Utilities, $275 a month. Transportation, car payment, fuel, and upkeep is about $1,250 a month. I allocated roughly $2,000 for food. Again, individual numbers may vary, but for the sake of averaging things out and based on the numbers that we discussed earlier, you could anticipate to spend about $4,424 outside of your living expenses in order to live in St. George comfortably in 2025. I'm sure that you guys are curious about, well, what can my money actually afford in St. George, Utah? If you're just starting your retirement relocation research, this is an important topic. 2025 is a great year to be shopping for real estate in St. George because for the first time in a long time, we are effectively in a buyer's market. So there are some great deals, and we're helping our clients put together some incredible deals across pretty much all prices and all ranges. So I will touch base just quickly on what your money can afford in a sub $500,000 price range in retirement communities. Then we'll open things up from $500,000 to about $1 million, and then we'll discuss on what you can afford for $1 million and beyond, like $1.5 million plus.
A lot of our clients start their relocation journey remote and are often flying completely blind as they are new to this area. The information online isn't always accurate or limited, so having real experience on the ground could mean avoiding making a mistake, which could cost you thousands. But let's define experience. Everybody has a friend or an uncle that's been selling real estate for over 30 years, but only those of us that sell real estate full-time know that Uncle Joe has only been selling 1 to 2 homes per year. There's always somebody out there that's willing to do it for less, but there is a reason why they are willing to take less.
So at the time of recording this video, and this is just beginning of September 2025, there are a total of 1,224 listings in St. George proper and greater area. If we include Hurricane, we are looking at a total of 1,659 listings. So quite a few options to choose from, and definitely significantly more than what we could say over the course of the last 5 years. Currently, there are 93 listings in the retirement communities from $0 up to $500,000. So if you cap your budget at $500,000 and you want to be in an age-restricted community, you have access to about 93 listings at this time. Now, before we get any further, I want to let you guys know that I will include the links in the description below this video so that you can check out all of these price ranges and see what your money can afford for yourself. And these are live links, so they will update automatically regardless of when you're watching this video. So you'll be able to see everything that is available for sale from under $500,000 and all the way up to the highest of the high end. So if you're shopping in the sub $500,000 price range, you can expect to get into a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom property that is all the way up to about 2,126 square feet. So this particular listing, it is not our listing. It is listed by Marlene Ritzman, and I would like to give the listing agent credit when appropriate. Marlene Ritzman is with RE/MAX. So this particular property is your typical 3-bed, 2-bath. This listing is in a age-restricted community. It is a 55-plus community in Kings Row. And this is pretty good bang for the buck considering the square footage. If we look at something that's closer to, let's sort these listings by price. So let's see what a $500,000 listing looks like right now. This listing is in Sunriver Villas. If you're into something that's a little bit newer, this home is listed by Jason Mitchell with Real Estate Utah LLC. And Sunriver Villas is a great subdivision if you're open to a duplex or townhome. These units are connected. They're quite a bit newer. They're really nice and modern. And this is a good option for what a $500,000 in an age-restricted community can afford. Nice, modern finishes and really nice floor plans. Really nice private backyard. This community has a pool, several pickleball courts, indoor meeting center or indoor clubhouse. As you can see, the amenities are great and you get quite a bit of bang for the buck. So with that being said, there are 93 options to choose from in that under $500,000 price range. And this excites me the most because we were so limited by the options in the more affordable price range. That is really nice to finally see some options. If you guys would like to tour any of these in person or request any more information, I'll provide a link in the description below so you can see all of them, and please don't hesitate to reach out to us. So what if your budget is from $500,000 to about $1 million? Well, the current search reveals this is actually the sweet spot because this is where majority of the inventory is, and this is where you can really get a sweet deal on something. It is not uncommon in today's market for the builders and the sellers to help cover your closing costs, help buy down the rates if you're using financing, and really people are getting creative to make a deal happen. And if we look at this top example here, it is listed by Chase Ames with RE/MAX. $1 million gets you 7,800 square feet. Now, I'm not sure if this would be an ideal property for somebody that's looking to downsize or retire because it is a large property, but 6 bedrooms, 5.5 bathrooms, 7,800 square feet for just $1 shy of $1 million. Wow. Now this property is a little bit, I don't want to say dated, well established. It is located in Santa Clara, and a lot of our clients love Santa Clara. As you can see, it's a large, beautiful home. Maybe you're thinking about downsizing, and it's not uncommon, and it looks like it's pretty well updated. It's not uncommon that some of our clients, as they decide to retire, also get their kids to come with them. So something like that might be perfect. If we kind of just look through this list, there are so many great options. Like there's another $1 million home, 6 beds, 5 baths, has a 3-car garage, nice large property. This is kind of the sweet spot for a lot of new construction, and there are a lot of ways that I would typically restrict this search. Nobody wants to look at 563 options, and as you start to eliminate 2 stories or anything specific in the scope of this video, there's really no way for me to know exactly what it is that you may be looking for. But I will post my number in the description below this video. Just shoot me a quick text and tell me some of your must-haves and deal breakers, and I would be happy to customize your search so that it's unique for you. But this $500,000 to about $1 million price range is really a sweet spot in Southern Utah in 2025, and there are so many deals to be had. So what if your heart desires something a little bit more luxurious? This list includes all of the listings from 1.5 million, and it's uncapped. So let's take a look. The most expensive property on this search currently, and there are 121 properties to choose from, is $9.7 million. It's in Stonecliff. Stonecliff is an incredible subdivision. We've had a number of videos on our YouTube channel featuring these properties. There's another home, so that one is active contingent. I'll show you guys a listing that is available right now for $7.5 million in Stonecliff. Beautiful modern home. It is listed by Dusty Wright with Keller Williams, and just look at these photos. St. George Luxury, I feel like, punches well above what you could get anywhere really in the Pacific West for $7.5 million. And these properties are absolutely exquisite. Modern finishes, modern lighting. This home, I believe, was actually in one of the recent Parade of Homes. And the views are absolutely breathtaking. I could look at these listings forever. As there is a lot to see, and I don't want to bore you guys with making this video too long. And like I said, I will include a link for all of the properties from 1.5 million with the unlimited top end. So if you want something truly luxurious, another interesting thing to note here is the price per square foot could be kind of all over the place. Anywhere from about $300 to $1,000 per square foot, but it all depends on the community, location, and finishes. So if you find yourself confused or even frustrated with looking at all these options, especially if you've never been to the area, please feel free to reach out to me, and I would be happy to break things down and tell you exactly why things cost what they cost and some of the things that you should be aware of, especially when shopping neighborhoods.
Retiring in St. George can be as affordable or as indulgent as you want it to be. But if you don't plan for hidden fees like HOA costs, insurance, and maintenance, your budget can get tight fast. If you're thinking about retiring here, call, text, or email us, and let's find a home and lifestyle that fit your budget and your dream.